Hey guys, it's week one. We just got done with the draft. This is just a quick spit from me with all the information. Your team stuff is up. The divisions are aligned. Everything's all good. I'm gonna go ahead and hand it over to Jordan here, who's gonna do your draft analysis. A little bit better and more in depth than Ditka's report card. So take it away, Jordan.
All right, gonna go over everyone's teams here to evaluate, in my opinion, how everybody's draft went. Starting with Chris at the first spot. I think Chris did a really good job. He has a really good team. At wide receiver, he's a little bit weak. Victor Cruz, Percy Harvin, good, but injury prone. If he goes down, then next best you have are Eric Decker, Marcus Colston. A little bit weak, but you have a lot of options at flex there. You could do Trent Richardson, put Eric Decker, Colston. You have a really good defense, CLD, top tier defense, which is good to take, but you don't know if they're going to be able to repeat what they did last year. And at tight end, Jordan Cameron, really good last year, but who knows how he's going to do without Josh Gordon. Moving on to Jeff. I really like Jeff's team a lot. He has a little bit of bye week trouble. Week 9 with Brandon Marshall, Joique Bell, Roddy White, Matt Ryan, all on bye week. He has a lot of depth at wide receiver, though, so that shouldn't hurt him too bad with both of his starters on bye. He could plug in Emmanuel Sanders. Mike Evans could turn out to be good. My biggest concern with him is depth at running back. Giovanni Bernard is pretty good, but after that, Joique Bell is, I don't know how well he's going to pan out. He's a backup currently. He has Noshawn Moreno, also a backup. Kyrie Robinson, New Orleans running back. Don't know how well that's going to go. But overall, I really like that team. Mike, I'm not a big fan of your team right now. I like Peyton Manning, obviously. Julio Jones is really good. I don't like Reggie Bush as a number 1 running back. Frank Gore, solid number 2 running back, but he might turn into your number 1 as the season goes on. CJ Spiller, don't really know how well he's going to do. He's one of those players that's talked up a lot, but doesn't ever produce as much as you would hope. At wide receiver, after Julio Jones, you have a lot of okay wide receiver 2 options with Crabtree, okay, Reggie Wayne, okay, Michael Floyd, okay. Jason Witten, obviously, should be solid, but really, your biggest concern, you need help at running back. TJ has a really good team there. Only problem there is health concerns, really. DeMarco Murray, he has had 1 healthy season so far last year. If you can repeat that, you're great at running back between him and Forte. Andre Ellington, we haven't seen how he has handled a full workload as a starting running back. Nick Foles, really good last year, but you have to see. He lost to Sean Jackson. Don't know if he's going to be able to repeat what he did last year. But you got decent depth if, say, Wes Welker pans out. Pierre Thomas could have an expanded role without Darren Sproles there. So, overall, pretty good team. Just hope that all your guys don't get hurt. Going on to my team, I really like my running backs with Adrian Peterson, Alfred Morris, and Zach Stacy. Dez Bryant, obviously really good. My biggest concern there is probably at my second wide receiver. I have Andre Johnson. I don't know how well he'll be without a good quarterback. Cordell Patterson, same problem, no good quarterback. I think my team mostly hinges on Tom Brady. If Tom Brady can bounce back to 2012 and prior form, should be really good. If not, then I could be in a little bit of trouble. I'll have to pick up someone off the waivers or something, or make a trade. Going on to Dale, I'm not a huge fan. Marshawn Lynch, there's the speculation that after all of his workload, he will not be good this year. He could get hurt. Arian Foster's coming off injury. Julius Thomas, I like that pick. Vincent Jackson, last year he was really boom bust. He had scored 20 points 1 week and then 3 the next. Ben Tate, also injury prone. Got Deshaun Jackson. I like that if he can mesh with RG3 well. But who knows with him competing with Pierre Garçon for targets. Cam Newton. I like Cam Newton, but we will see how well he can conform with his new targets with only Greg Olsen returning. Depth, I'm not a huge fan. I don't know how much work Darren Sproles is actually going to get with McCoy there. Dwayne Bowe is... They don't have a quarterback that can stretch the field for him, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. But you have a little work to do, but if you don't have the injury issues, your team should be okay. Chinny, Eddie Lacy, solid pick. Matt Stafford, you reached a little. He probably would have been there in the next round, and you passed up Aaron Rodgers for him, which was a bit costly, I believe. Rob Gronkowski, good pick. If he can stay healthy, that he should really help you a lot. My biggest concern there is probably wide receiver. You have Randall Cobb as your 1. I think he's like a mid-range wide receiver 2. You have Larry Fitzgerald, probably in the same range as Cobb. Not that amazing these days. But if your running backs, if Ray Rice can come back to his form from a couple of years ago, then that you should be good at running back between him and Lacy. Yeah, you have, I don't know, your team looks okay on paper, could use some help at wide receiver mostly. Moving on to Derek, question mark at tight end. I don't know how well Zach Ertz is going to do for you, but I mean, with Deshaun Jackson gone, he could get a lot of underneath routes, assuming that Macklin can stretch the field a little bit. I really like your running backs if they pan out. You have Doug Martin, who was hurt last year, and before he got hurt, he didn't look that good, though. So if he works out, then that's good. Monte Ball, a running back on a Peyton Manning offense, that could be really good. Toby Gerhart, he's looked pretty good, but we haven't seen how well he can handle a full load since he's just been a backup to Adrian Peterson. Wide receivers really good between Calvin Johnson and Antonio Brown. Pretty good depth. You have a lot of players down here that could boom pretty well between Brandon Cooks, Riley Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins. So overall, good team, as long as your running backs, at least 2 of the top 3 pan out for you. Going on to Matt. First 2 picks, really good. After that, a couple of reaches. You reached for Golden Tate. Shane Vereen was a solid pick. Reached for Doug Baldwin. Took a kick or 2 early. Mostly, your biggest issue there is running backs. You're pretty questionable. But I think that if you could make a trade, or if you find a good running, you have early waiver priority, so if you could find a good running back on waivers in the first week or 2, then your team could pan out pretty well. Going on to Austin, obviously amazing at wide receiver. You have Demaryius Thomas, you have A.J. Green, you have Alshon Jeffrey. No one that you could complain about having on your team there. But your running backs are very suspect. Ryan Matthews, pretty good, but between him, Danny Woodhead, and Donald Brown coming to town, it might be a little bit harder for him to get as many looks. Plus, until last year, he's been very injury prone, so it's hard to know if he's going to play the whole season. Stephen Ridley almost didn't even make the Patriots team, so that's tough. Bishop Sankey, they say he has a lot of talent, but he hasn't been playing with the first team, and Sean Green isn't starting over him, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. Quarterback, you have 2 good quarterbacks you can play matchups with between Phillip Rivers and Colin Kaepernick, but I would have rather seen you take Tom Brady instead of Rivers, but overall, I like your options at quarterback. So that is my full draft recap, and I'll throw it back to Austin.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. It was the in-depth draft analysis. All I got for you now is that this Sunday we're going to try to get everyone back that we had last week for football. Falcons Saints are playing at 1 o'clock. That's the big game of the week. And then, of course, Sunday night is Mike's Peyton Manning's versus his old team, Andrew Luck and the Colts, facing off on Sunday night. And then Monday's the big game. I will have it off, so we will be doing both of the doubleheader Monday nights here. Lions versus Giants and Chargers versus Cardinals is the second half game. So set your lineups, get ready for that, and I hope to see you all this week coming. Go Pack Go. All right, guys, take it easy. Week 1.